this video, we're going to talk about fundamental enhancements that have been improved on for the Assembly Manager. We'll start with the Automatic Confirm Values option. So, when you're updating fields inside of the Assembly Manager, it is no longer required for you to hit the Confirm button. This makes it easier for being able to update values, and ensures if you do swap between fields, your values that you've input in don't get lost. Notice in Materials, when editing the field, the weight command is built right in. You can choose a weight right from this list, which is the weight CFG, or manually enter your own values. If you do input in from this list, it will add the weight in automatically. As mentioned before, there is no checkbox to have to confirm the value. So for example, if I do switch to another entity to edit, you don't lose the data from that original entity. It is possible to go back to the old way of doing this by going into Settings here, and unchecking the automatic confirm values. If you uncheck this value, the green check marks will appear and it requires you to right click to apply. Now we're going to talk about field visibility with regards to the bill of material. You see all these empty fields that are in our default list here for the properties that we can input values for. These don't show up in my bill of material. For example, if I go to the table, you can see the visible rows within the bill of material. These are controlled by the settings area right here and templates. Everything that's checked will show up in the bill of material, which is that table that you see at the bottom. There's an option inside of the parts list area to enable and disable visible rows based on the bill of material properties. And continuing with the bill of material, we're going to talk about automatic table editing. So if I make a change to one of my fields, you'll see that the table's going to edit. So I'm going to start with this cover one, which I'm just going to search for using the find function. We'll search cover, and it should find that right in our field area. If I go into here and I change the name of that description where cover is located to, let's say, cavity, you will see that it's going to automatically update my table with that information. No longer are you required to delete the table to be able to see these changes. Now we're going to talk about the merge fields function. So we have all these properties available for each of these fields, and we want to group them together into one field. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create that field. I can right-click Fields and select Add Field. I'm going to create a field named Merge Data, and this is going to be the field I'm going to merge that information to. I'll go ahead and confirm this. And then, here's my Merge Data field. I'm going to go to the Create Values area, and I'm going to go to the Functions dropdown. In addition to the merge fields, there's also the bounding box field, automatic, layers, mass properties, weight, and of course, merge fields, which is what we're going to select. So within merge fields, we choose the fields we're going to specifically merge. For example, right here, you can see the available fields. We're going to select the description, the material, and we'll also choose the code here. So these fields are going to be selected. I'm going to put an underscore between each one as a separator. So when you merge this in, it's going to have that extra field in there as a separator. So upon hitting OK here, you will see that information update in the merge data area. Now we're going to update the sum criteria, which is a default visibility field. So you can see how we go to the entities area. We're going to find that merge data field, and we're going to go ahead and hit the checkbox to confirm. You can see that is now the visible field. This is important when it comes to exporting files to be able to see the assemblies in another program. So now they're in the assembly view. This is important for setup. We got to select the part and add it to our assembly. This is how we can import data into other programs. So now we're going to export this out as a step file. And then in properties, we're going to ensure we select this to by assemblies. So that way the exported data comes through when we import this into another product. For example, I have eDrawings, which is a SolidWorks-based product. I'm going to go ahead and import that step file into here. And when it loads, we're going to go into the component area of eDrawings. Within here, you'll see that assembly show up. This is the exact name that I labeled it in VISI. And the last thing we're going to talk about here is the add function for automatic population of field values. So we're looking at our layer management. We're going to create a field named layers, and we're going to use a function to automatically populate the data of the layers within the Assembly Manager field. So here we're creating the field named layers. We're going to go ahead and select this area, and you can see here's where we can start adding functions. In addition to functions, we can also add prefix values. So this is where you can add values in, so that way you look at it in a dropdown, these values are auto-populated. So let's go to add function. Like what we talked about before, we have our functions here, and we're going to go ahead and select layer. You can choose what type of function within the layer, whether you want the name, the index number and name, and so on. We'll just choose layer here, and go ahead and select confirm. When I select all my entities, I can go ahead and say update values, and it will automatically update everything here. If I say yes, it's going to go through the process and update that layer for each one of those items automatically. For example, if the layer name changes, you will see the change take effect here too.